IT workers, what is the most ridiculous? You are IT, you have to fix this. Request you have received. Lady called to report her monitor was not working after troubleshooting and asking her multiple times if everything was plugged in. She finally pipes up that the monitor does not have the light on. The monitor was not plugged in and she wanted me to wake a guy up at 3 a.m. to do it because she was dressed nicely to do it herself because she was preparing for a meeting at 6 a.m. Told her to do it herself because I was not about to wake up the on-call for that. She complained to our director and he literally left at her and her reasoning for wanting the on-call sent out, and she is now banned from calling in. One of my first jobs was in the 90s. I was senior IT admin for a medium-sized company, and on my day off, the CEO called. I had to get in cause the mail was not working, and also the banking software didn't work. This CEO was primarily responsible for the financial department, so especially this last part was hurting him. When I came in, said CEO was really flaming, basically burning the entire IT department of 3 people as being incompetent, overpaid fuck-ups, and all the loss of business revenue should come out of our pockets, etc. So during this lovely tirade, I come in, and in a few seconds I realize we have a problem with the internet connection. Keep in mind, these were the 90s, so we had a dual ISDN connection and a dial-up modem connected to it. I run a few tests, and instead of the common modem sounds, I hear some low-raised voice on the line. I connect a regular phone to it, listened to it, and then gave it to the CEO saying, "It's for you." After that, the CEO said nothing and used his own mobile to manage the finances. What did the ISDN phone say? "Due to not paying you bloody bill, this line is disconnected. If you want to reinstate this service you have to pay X plus admin costs, etc." I went home after that, with a very big grin, and started looking for another job. What happened to the company? It went bankrupt about a year later. Years ago I worked for a rather large ISP as a tech lead. A residential Dessel customer called in demanding to speak to a supervisor because his internet was down and he was going to miss out on some multi-million-dollar deal if he could not get on the internet. He kept yelling at me throughout the call and demanded I fix it immediately. While troubleshooting the issue, I could see that I could not reach the DSL his connection ran through. I advised him I would have to reach out to a dispatch center to have a tech go take a look at it. At some point he informed me that on his way home he saw that a vehicle had run off the road into one of our boxes and it had caught fire. He still said he was planning on suing our company if he was not able to be online to make this supposed deal of his. I passive-aggressively suggested he go to a Starbucks and wished him well with the lawsuit. I work in web development, maintenance. I got a call from a client who was absolutely livid when I told her that she could not take the hyperlinked text from her webpage, transfer it over to their print ad, and still have it function like a link. I was asked to fix a cabinet once. I don't mean like a server rack or anything, I mean a literal wooden cabinet with shelves and stuff. Edit. I was once also asked to fix an old oscilloscope that was out of warranty. It was running embedded Windows, so I could at least sort of see their thought process on that one, but it was still a no. Was the cabinet used to store information? Posted this before, but I was a remote tech and had a woman call me and wanted me to drive 6+ hours to her facility to turn on her computer because hitting the power button was not her job. The power went out in our building, and the owner of the company wanted to know what we were doing to get the computers up. Not my customer, but a trainer was once asked for the stupidest calls he ever took as an agent, and he got this person who wanted to know why their internet would not work. He asked them which lights were on their modem, and they said none, the electricity is out, and he just kind of facepalmed. My other favorite story from him, even though it's not strictly related, was this one. Him, can you reboot your modem? Caller, no, I can't. I am in the closet. Him, what? Why? Since he had asked her to look at the modem and he didn't know why it would be in a closet. Caller, I am making a salad. The owner of a company thought it was a reasonable plan to put a gasoline-powered generator in an unused room of our office in the event of a power failure. Not outside, not even on a balcony, but in a room that was interior without windows. I told him if he did that I, and every other sane person there would leave in the event of a power failure. After that I was told to research the feasibility of putting a pedal generator at every desk. Presumably, he tough every could peddle the electricity to keep working. He was literally trying to create a sweatshop. Several employees had a history of heart trouble. I was told it will be good for them. I have somehow become the Apple guy at my work. We recently received a batch of brand new iPad Pros, and within a week, I received a repair request due to a screen malfunctioning. Turns out by screen malfunctioning they meant completely destroyed, shattered, like it had been continuously hit with a hammer. Lady is giving vague explanations about what happened, talking about how it might have fallen off her desk onto the carpeted floor. But apparently this is something I can fix. She needed it for a meeting that afternoon. I had to explain that this isn't something we can fix, that I will need to go through Apple for a replacement device. Shocking news, apparently. I was working as a developer at a Navy contract. One morning, a Navy captain walked up to my desk. "You are Roman?" "Yes, sir. How can I help you?" "I got a virus in my email, so I forwarded it to you." But why?" "Well, I didn't want it in my inbox." But, was it supposed to go to somebody else? You could have deleted it or notified the IT guys across the hall who deal with that type of stuff, sir." "Well, you are IT, right?" Sigh. Once had a person call into the IT desk because the soda machine stole their money. Got a call to remove a plug on a radio and push the wire through a small vent in the cabinet because the wire was unsightly. I did this while 15 executives watched. None of them knew how to change a plug and had never even seen the inside of one, but because it had a wire it was IT's responsibility. I will start. One time somebody at a company asked me, "Why isn't the microwave working? You are in IT after all. Fix it." I thought they were joking, but after a bit of deliberation, they were either serious or very committed to the role. Old story, back in the early 90s all of Alaska's comm was via satellite. We would get notices from our providers when a solar storm was going to slow down our throughput. I went upstairs to our finance and accounting chief to tell her the nightly processes might be late due to the storm. Her response was, "You are IT, just fix it." Never let her forget that she saw me as a god. Back in my very early career, I had this customer named Mr. Windsor. He was this grumpy older guy and everything was an emergency, and he was always yelling about some IT issue he was having. The most memorable is he called us livid over some site he was getting a forbidden error on. How dare we forbid him from going to his website? I had to patiently explain that there was an issue with that site and he would have to contact the owner. About an hour later he calls back demanding to speak to me personally. He got an email saying he had a fatal error. How dare we wish him to die? Finally figured out that he would misspelled the email address and the fatal error was coming from the mail system. I just looked up the number to the web company and told him to call. I would love to know how the conversation went. Anyway, a few days before Christmas we get a phone call. It's Mr. Windsor. He is slurring his words and clearly been drinking something festive. He called to apologize for being a miserable old duffer and thank us for being patient. Back to his usual miserable self after Christmas, of course. Interesting character. A couple simple ones. I got called in to repair a broken printer. The guy was pretty livid as he was trying to print in a hurry. Turns out it ran out of paper. Even worse, I had my boss lose his shit on me that his computer didn't work and made the comment that nothing ever works around here, hinting that I failed at my job. I went into his office and found that he didn't turn it on. I pushed the power button and all I got was "No, IT support has to be one of the worst jobs. Stupid ass people, and anytime something like a mouse battery dies you're a pos." Not necessarily an IT worker but a computer scientist. A lot of people get those confused, but one time I was at my sister's house and she needed help getting her printer connected, so she asked me, "You know how to do this, help me?" And I tried to do it because it was a simple Google search to fix this, but she is breathing down my neck because I am not getting this solved at the speed she wants me to get it done. She then drops it, "Didn't you go to school for this?" on me, and I respond with, "No, I make software that sometimes works." Moral of the story, if you are an IT worker or a computer scientist, keep that to yourself. I worked for an online college and a student wanted me to change his username. It was Goatbugger. And you changed it to Goatbugger69, problem solved. Got a call the scanner in HR was broken. Thought to myself, we don't have a scanner in HR. Go to the office. The lady has Word open and is holding a document to the screen, hitting enter repeatedly. I thought no one would believe me, so I brought about 5 other techs along to corroborate. Edit. My first gold. I have been waiting to say thank you, kind stranger, forever. Worked for a small bank. 2 IT staff including me. Drove 60 miles out to a branch to fix an issue. And while I was used to getting hit with $1 million saved up. While you are here. Issues. I was not prepared for the toilet is acting weird. Can you look at it while you are here? Not me, and not the guy I knew, but someone he knew. A story from many years ago. This other fellow is a photocopier serviceman. He gets a call from one of their clients about their photocopier not working. He goes through the short list with the person on the phone, including it's plugged in, right. The client assures him everything else is fine, so he grabs his stuff and heads to the client site. First thing he looks at when he gets to the copier is the power cord. Sure enough, it's in the socket but not properly seated, so no juice. So with the client there, he stands over the copier in the right spot, lays his hands on the top of the copier, and begins chanting. As he reaches the crescendo, out of sight of the client, he lifts his leg up and kicks the plug into the socket fully, and the copier comes to life. On the worksheet, in the area where he is supposed to describe what actions he took, he simply writes, "I healed it," and has the client sign in. Thanks for watching. Share your story in the comment.